Hi, it's the TheRawsomeVeganGal here, and this is the results video for my experiment using the Vejibag. Here's one of them to show you. Last week I previewed them, and right here I have one of them. It's actually folded over in half, as you can see, so it's really bigger. And then the really large one I have over here. You can see that. So what I did was I did an experiment where I put the same produce into 3 different types of bags. One of them was a veggie bag, one of them was a compostable bag from Vejibag, and one of them was just a regular plastic bag. So what I was trying to find out from doing this is whether there is a difference between the 3. So let's start first with the plastic bag. So what I have, this is just a regular plastic bag number 2, grocery bag. So what I put into this bag was a celery stalk, a couple of pieces of what's called Napa Cabbage, and a summer squash. So here's the celery, and as you can see, actually it's not that fresh looking. The leaves on the celery have gotten yellow, wilted, some are turning brown, and the celery itself is getting kind of pliable. It's not terrible, but it hasn't really held up much. This part is getting kind of soft and more bendable. So that is the celery. The other thing was the Napa Cabbage, which doesn't seem to be terrible, although a little bit of the leaf here is wilting. This was the inner part of the Napa Cabbage that I had. I didn't have the outer leaves. So it's a little more bendable, although it's softer part of the actual cabbage. But the leaves, were already like this when I started, the color-wise. They were not a darker green color. So it's a little bit wilty, not terrible. And then the summer squash in this plastic bag, looks like it held up pretty good. It's still pretty hard, and the color seems to be pretty good. It might be changing a little bit here. I don't remember exactly what it was, but maybe a little bit. But it seems to be, because it's a hardier squash, it seems to have held up okay. So that really didn't change. But as you can see, the celery, because of the leaves, I did not use any green leafy vegetable. The owner recommended, and also I have on my blog some information she shared with me before I actually attempted to do this experiment, that when you you shouldn't use triple washed greens in those packages, because a lot of times they aren't so fresh and you'd have to really pick through them, make sure you're not starting out with ones that are already getting wilted or yellowed or don't look fresh, because then you're already starting to put them in a bag and it's not going to have the same freshness results and won't last as long. So I did not, that's why I opted not to do that. So I figured I'd try the celery with the greens and see what happens. So as you can see in the plastic bag, it did not hold up very well. Next we're going to show you this compostable bag. This is the bag I mentioned last time from Vejibag. So let's see how those vegetables held up compared to the plastic bag. So it seems like the greens held up on the celery pretty good. If you could see, some of them are getting a little bit wilty and bended. The celery, I don't know if this got bent actually from where it was in my fridge. The celery itself seems to also be a little more bendable, although it was very sturdy when I put it in. So this is definitely better than in the plastic bag. It doesn't look like it got as much decay, so to speak, as it would in the plastic bag. And let's take a look at the Napa Cabbage. I put 2 pieces in here. They seem to be okay. I don't really see much difference in when I put them in at all. They still look to be fairly okay. Again, they're a little more bendable because it was the inner part of the cabbage. And then the summer squash that I used seems also to be okay. Maybe has a little bit of spots, but that might have been on there when I first started, so I can't say for sure that really made a big difference. So that's the the Vejibag compostable bag. The reason it would be a better choice of a bag is because there's no plastics in it. As opposed to the plastic bag, there's no chemicals, there's no plasticizers, so you're not also getting any plastic in your food. So that's why it would be a good option. So, if the idea is the cloth is the best. In my opinion, it's most natural, but this is at least an option as well. So, and finally, let's take a look at our veggie bag. So what I wanted to just tell you is that I wet this bag when I first started the experiment last Tuesday night, and it stayed fairly damp. I don't think I wet it again. Then what I did was I put some water on it and wrung it out a little bit, still kept it to make sure it's damp. I think I only had to wet it one other time because I didn't have a lot of produce in here. So we just did, like I said, the celery, the Napa cabbage, and the summer squash. So this one, the celery itself has held up much better in the sense that it's not as bendable as the others were, and they all were fairly stiff when I got them. So that's really neat to see that. So that's definitely a difference, that the celery itself is still firm. The leaves seem to be okay. Again, this part is the more bendable part anyway, so I don't know that that really would have an effect, but the actual stalk itself seems to be a lot better than in the other bags. And then the other items we have in here, we'll take out to show you, are the Napa cabbage, and again, I don't really see much change. Maybe it is a little stiffer than the other bags. I don't remember. I didn't really try to bend them before I started this to put them in, but they seem to have held up again fairly well. And again, this color is the color that I started them with, so it's not really any difference. And then finally, the squash. Again, there are some spots on here that I think were there before I started, so you know, it's still fairly good. It's held up fairly good. So, you know, I would say overall that the veggie bag is definitely a very good option, and the owner of the company is again going to have a special offer for my viewers if you go to my blog, and it's going to be on the newest post, and the blog site is going to be linked below this video along with the site for the veggie bag. But in order to get the discount, you must go to the blog in order to get the coupon code. So the blog address is www.TheRawsomeVeganGal.wordpress.com, and RawsomeGal is RAWSOMEGAL @wordpress.com. So that's basically the results. I think the veggie bag overall is probably a very good option, and you know, the compostable bags too. But if you really want to go with something that's the most natural, and like I mentioned before, the veggie bags are all made by women by hand. They're all certified organic, U.S. grown cotton, and they come in 3 sizes. They come in the size that I'm showing you, and then the 2 other sizes that I did not use. I only used one because I didn't have a lot of room in my fridge to do them all. So that's the other one, and again, it opens up so it's wider. And then you have the really big one. So if you're doing a lot of salads, and you also can actually put in cut-up vegetables in here as well to have them ready to go. You always want to make sure your bag is nice and damp and stays that way. Otherwise, the vegetables won't hold up because they need that moisture. So that is the result of my experiment using the 3 types of bags to hold your produce and to see how they last. So thanks for watching. It's the Rawsome Vegan Gal.